CEO is the most powerless, not the most powerful. जो hierarchy की value है वो और कम होती जा रही है. It is not increasing, I feel. It's been close to 15 years for me.
This is from the Motorola times almost.
2G times. जितनी manufacturing होगी उतनी employment create होगी. I don't think for any brand to do very well, including iQOO, वो सिर्फ एक चैनल पे रह के बहुत अच्छा कर सकते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि ऑनलाइन है और ऑनलाइन पे ही रुकना है. We can expand to other channels also.
Hi guys, back with another exciting episode, possibly our biggest ever of the Schbang In It Podcast. Today I'm joined by a very respected business leader, someone whose vision and who's shaping the future of our rapidly evolving digital economy, a pioneer in the smartphone industry, someone who has a lot of valuable insights as a business leader, as someone who understands trends in our country, and someone who's shaping what our next generation will consider must-have technology. I'm joined today by the CEO of iQOO Mobiles, Nipun Marya. Thank you so much for joining me today, Nipun. It's an absolute pleasure to sit with you.
My pleasure.
So Nipun, I mean, this is, like I said in my intro, the biggest episode we've ever done. So thank you so much for gracing us with this. It's a big improved set. I think the viewers will realize we've tried to add a little bit more in our art deco budget for you. But hopefully the conversation that we can unpack today will give a lot of young users, both who are searching for jobs as well as just kids who want to make their real content better, that little extra edge. So I want to start off obviously by just glancing over what sort of has led you to this point. I want to dive very deeply into your current role and what that sort of entails. But if you can just give us a little understanding of your journey so far, both within the Vivo and iQOO ecosystem, as well as just what led you to this point would be great.
Okay, sure. So firstly, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here in the office. The office looks very cool, very nice. And I think the setup is also good. So congratulations on that.
Art direction, guys. Well done.
Right. So if you see from the outside, and I was telling this some day to somebody else also, that at one level, you can see as you keep rising up the ladder, बहुत लोगों को लगता है कि आप जितने senior position पे होंगे, आप उतने powerful होते हैं, right? So CEO is the most powerful. I think this is what everybody thinks from the outside.
आज शीशा मत तोड़ना हमारे लिए, हम सब इसकी के पीछे दौड़ते जाते हैं CEO.
मैं वही कह रहा था. So in fact, the way I look at it is, and what I have felt also, is CEO is the most powerless, not the most powerful. And I think this understanding is in fact what I have got now, because interdependence on everybody else is so high, right? तो आपको लग सकता है कि हाँ आपने किसी को भी कुछ भी बोल सकते हो, but that's not true at all, right? You are totally dependent on everybody else to finally get your job done. So it's as though जो भी देख रहे हैं और जो सोच रहे हैं कि we will keep rising up the corporate ladder and keep becoming stronger and more powerful. Yes, it is more rewarding, certainly, but at the same time, think that you will be more serving rather than leading. I think that's important.
But yeah, I think आपके humbleness का वजूद है, because personally I do know, I mean, I have interacted with a bunch of other CEOs. Definitely some are not of the same ilk as you in terms of the stature and the size of the organizations that they're running. But a lot of them do have this power trip. So it's very refreshing to hear. I think I would give you the credit. I think you're being very modest. पर बहुत से CEO ऐसे हैं जो power के पीछे पागल हो जाते हैं.
No, I don't know. Again, I think it's also about how times are changing now. And most important in that is if you see the current generation and how the current businesses are being built and run, it is no more about seniority. It is the quality of idea which finally takes you through. And the quality of idea, and a good idea can come from anywhere. It can come from an assistant manager level also, manager also, senior manager, at any level actually, right? And therefore, I feel the whole hierarchical structure is not, it wasn't relevant 10 years, 20 years back. I think as we are going more deeper into the knowledge economy, जो hierarchy की value है वो और कम होती जा रही है. It is not increasing, I feel. So therefore, it's all about how you can co-create at every level. And I think as you're building brand iQOO, and we can talk more about it, there also the spirit of co-creation is the most important.
Understood. पर अगर मैं आपके सफर के बारे में बात करूँ, in terms of your journey, you were, and please correct me if I'm wrong anywhere, Vivo was first, and after that you moved into your current role at iQOO. So how long, what was that trajectory like, if you don't mind just sharing some light on?
Sure. So in the overall mobile phone business now, it's been close to 15 years for me.
So this is from the Motorola times almost.
Yeah, 2G
Yeah.
times. So 2G, 3G, 4G, now 5G also, and people are hearing about 6G. So I was lucky to join this sector honestly. It wasn't कि मैंने बहुत plan किया हुआ था कि मैं इस sector में आऊँगा और grow करूँगा या business या career बनाऊँगा. That was not the journey. As with many people, I also went into graduation.
Okay.
I did my engineering from Punjab Engineering College, Chandigarh. And then from engineering, as it happens with many engineers, MBA was the next course of action. So then MBA. For MBA, I went to FMS Delhi. So from FMS Delhi, the year I passed out was the year of very big recession, 2009, and I joined Tata Teleservices.
Okay.
And in Nasik, and there is when I started my corporate journey.
Delhi से नासिक you've reached. Okay.
So and वहाँ पर sales में काम किया मैंने, and I really understood at the ground level how things happen. So all the youngsters were also watching. I think working at the ground level, at the grassroots level is very critical. Don't take any shortcuts there, right? तो जब मैंने वहाँ पर काम किया मैंने बहुत कुछ सीखा, and from there I moved to Lava International. I worked there, in the product department. From there I moved to Samsung, and Samsung to Vivo.
Got it.
And within Vivo now, for the first 5 years, I was in Vivo brand, and that's what I was doing. Now I'm leading iQOO.
Got it. Understood. So I mean that gives us a fairly good understanding of just the ecosystem and a little bit about your background. I want to talk about what you started with, right? When you said that the CEO is one of the most powerless positions. While I do understand what you mean, because today you need all of your individual departments to fire in order for your collective goal to be achieved. But today, when you are a CEO in a company like iQOO, it's a very young, I'm guessing, dynamic ecosystem, which is always constantly changing because of the kind of customer you're catering to. And you've, I think, very rightly put that you have been across the smartphone landscape, right? Lava is at one price point, Samsung is at many price points. Vivo, I think, has evolved itself in the Indian market tremendously, and iQOO continues to evolve itself today. Anything that you can tell me about the landscape that you think as in your unique vantage point or aapke nazariye se that's a little different about this industry as compared to any other fast moving consumer electronics?
Very different actually. I think smartphones, and that is also the beauty of smartphones, जिसकी वजह से मैं smartphone industry में इतने टाइम से काम कर रहा हूँ और आगे भी काम करना चाहता हूँ. The fact that technology is changing so fast, और टेक्नोलॉजी में कोई भी चेंज होता है, मुझे लगता है स्मार्टफोन इंडस्ट्री में वो बहुत जल्दी आ जाता है. अगर डिस्प्लेज में कोई लेटेस्ट इनोवेशन है, इट विल सर्टेनली कम इन द स्मार्टफोन. जैसे अब फोल्डेबल्स हैं फॉर एग्जांपल, राइट? फोल्डेबल डिस्प्लेज आ रहे हैं, तो अगर आप जितनी भी कैटेगरीज देखेंगे आपको देखा स्मार्टफोन में सबसे जल्दी अडॉप्ट हो रहा है. टेलीविजन में अभी तक नहीं आया, इतने सारे और डिवाइसेस में नहीं है, बट फोन्स में आ रहा है, बिकॉज फोन्स आर सो इंटेग्रल टू आवर लाइव्स. फोन्स जितने हम कहीं भी जाएंगे फोन हमारे पास रहेगा. सो देयरफॉर कम व्हाट में हर 2 साल में हम अपना घर का टीवी चेंज नहीं करते. कंज्यूमर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में कोई भी और लैपटॉप चेंज नहीं करेंगे, बट फोन हम चेंज करेंगे, राइट? बिकॉज फोन इज ऑल्सो समथिंग व्हिच वी विल टेक विद अस, whether we are in office, whether we go to a party, whether we are hanging out with friends. Phone is rarely a thing which we will leave at home. So phone is truly an extension of who we are.
Absolutely.
Right? So because of this, I think consumer electronics, and within consumer electronics, smartphones is a very exciting place to work in.
Can I ask you one question, which I know maybe not as this thing, but just always want to know? Like you said, right? Rightly, today electronics are changed, phones are changed every 2 years. But how long today, I believe, again, my knowledge is purely internet based, but I believe that phones are built to last a lot longer, right? How have you all figured out this mechanism? It's a full, I guess it's a vanity upgrade to some level, unless there's a big jump in technology. Is that a conscious effort you guys make also when you're launching new phones, that you think of a consumer's life cycle as 2 years?
No, so it's not just what we think. In fact, we are serving the customer.
Right.
अगर आप customer के angle से देखेंगे तो, in fact, a couple of years back, जो replacement cycle था, it was less than 2 years. Right now, what we are seeing is the replacement cycle has gone to more than 2 years, like 26 months, 28 months, because the technology is built to last longer. Right? Phones are also lasting longer. Some people say कि मुझे upgrade करने के लिए उतना बड़ा reason नहीं मिल रहा जितना पहले मिल रहा था. So for multiple reasons, people are now feeling that the upgrade can be stretched a little longer.
Got it.
But as far as we are concerned, agar aap dekhenge Snapdragon, right?
Right.
They will release their flagship chipset every year. And there are always big improvements in the flagship chipsets, right? Similarly, agar aap displays dekhenge, they are improving. हमने आज ही एक phone launch किया है, it is India's slimmest phone, 6000 mAh at less than 8 mm.
Wow.
Right? So it is 7.99 mm. Again, there is innovation. And what is the price point? 12,000 rupees. Right? So again, innovation also, the scope of innovation is at all price points. And therefore, I feel in the smartphone business where so many things are happening, there are so many price points, as a brand, if you are dynamic enough, there are so many consumers you can attract.
Absolutely. So if I can ask another question just on that price point that you mentioned, which is very valid today. You guys are developing phones which have top class specs. I've personally seen them and it's amazing. You've also been providing them at a very affordable price. Is that a conscious decision you guys have taken that you all are going to operate in this particular segment? And then are there plans in the near future to open up a full sort of flagship or a premium version? Because I don't know how much more premium you can get. You're already giving a lot of the best stuff, but I'm sure there is always something. Is that the plan? Is that you all want to create sort of phones for both categories?
Yeah, so agar aap iQOO ko aaj dekhe, if you look at iQOO, iQOO is operating in the price point from around 12,000-13,000 and going up to 50,000,
Right.
Which is our flagship,
Right.
our iQOO 12. More than price point, I always believe it is a promise that you as a brand are giving to your consumer.
Right.
Right? Or wo promise is as sacrosanct for a 12,000 rupees price point as it is for a 50,000 rupees price point, right? Because you have to be totally honest to your consumer. And as a brand, what are we promising? We are promising कि अगर आप iQOO का phone ले रहे हैं, it will be the fastest in its category.
Right.
It will have the best performance. And not just performance. By performance, I mean, chipset performance, camera performance. You will get amongst the best you can get in the category, right? That is our promise. And therefore, for us, that is important to live by, whether we are selling at 15K or 50K.
Today, if I were to look at brand iQOO, right, like you all are, in a way, you all have a niche that you all have already charted out for yourselves. Now, in a competitive market that's so fast evolving, how do you see yourself expanding or broadening your niche to fit the ever-evolving needs of youth India today? Because I think we are the largest digital population out there, most active, and I think also because of data plans being where they are, people are consuming a lot. So how are you planning on expanding your niche? Or if I could put this in another way, today, do you feel that iQOO has a particular niche that is being perceived at by your customer?
So, if you look at iQOO consumers also, they are certainly one segment of this large universe of smartphone population. And as a brand also, हमें ये पता है कि कौन हमें खरीद सकता है और खरीदेगा और कौन हमें नहीं खरीदेगा. And therefore, we are not even bothered about people who we know are not our consumers. What we are more concerned about is कि जो हमारे iQOO के consumers हैं या जो target consumers हैं, how well they understand the brand and our technology. For example, we know iQOO consumer वो है जो technology के बारे में aware है, technology के बारे में उसको समझ है. He is passionate about technology. वो technology के बारे में पढ़ेगा, अपना point of view बनाएगा. इनफैक्ट अगर जैसे आपके भी 10 फ्रेंड्स होंगे, 10 फ्रेंड्स में कोई 2 लोग होंगे जिससे बाकी सब लोग पूछते होंगे कि यार कौन सा फोन लो.
Correct.
राइट? सो iQOO के कंज्यूमर्स वो 2 लोग हैं.
Understood.
Not the remaining 8.
Got it. So opinion leaders or
राइट,
sort of
क्योंकि
platform
उन लोगों को मोर देन जो सब लोग खरीद रहे हैं वो उस पे नहीं जाएंगे, वो उस पे जाएंगे where the merit is the highest.
Got it.
Right? And that is what we have seen. And when we are also making our phones, we see that these people who are the 2 out of the 10, the tech leaders within their community, are they finding value in our phone? और उसमें हमने ये देखा कि there are 2 kinds of consumers. One kind are the ones who really care about performance. And by performance, I mean really cutting edge. उनको performance चाहिए. Performance का मतलब है phone hang नहीं होना चाहिए, बैटरी फास्ट चार्जिंग बहुत अच्छी होनी चाहिए, अगर मैं गेम खेलता हूँ तो मेरी गेमिंग बहुत अच्छी होनी चाहिए, अगर मैं पोर्ट्रेट फोटोग्राफी कर रहा हूँ तो वो अच्छा होना चाहिए. राइट? सो लाइक दैट दे नो व्हाट दे वांट फ्रॉम देयर फोन. और इसीलिए iQOO phones are designed keeping that in mind. And right now the choice of channel is also that. We know हमारा जो कस्टमर है वो ऑनलाइन खरीदने में बहुत कंफर्टेबल, right? Therefore, we are selling right now only online.
Understood. Interesting. I mean, a couple of questions I had which you answered while you were sort of giving me that. I was going to ask you about customer loyalty, but I guess that answered because you just build the best specs with your target consumer in mind. You know what they want and you're hypersensitive to that. If I were to ask you about today, the way manufacturing of smartphones sort of operates, or the way you're building the setup, I know that there's a large political initiative for technology to come completely into India, but I'm aware that there is no smartphone company in the world that can be completely sustained in one country. You'll have to source from different places. How far do you think we are from the capability, or how far are y'all from the capability to have a completely integrated setup here from start to finish?
Yeah, so as a country, I think we are progressing in the right direction. There are initiatives being taken at multiple levels.
Right.
और मुझे लगता है वो सारे initiatives बहुत valuable हैं because as a country, if there is among so many very important things, one very important thing which we require as a country right now is employment.
Right.
And manufacturing sector is known to create large numbers of employment.
Absolutely.
Right? तो इसलिए when the government pushes towards manufacturing, we as an organization also are totally pro it because we understand जितनी manufacturing होगी उतनी employment create होगी और employment generate होगी. So this is the first part. The second part is value addition. Right? Right now, what we see is the value addition which is happening within India is still, I would say, around 10%. Okay. Right? It is still not very high. But the way policies are being framed, the way initiatives are being taken, both at corporate level and at government level, I see this rising because ये भी मुझे लगता है step by step approach है. Earlier, if we go back 10 years, then manufacturing itself or assembling itself was not happening. Right? 10 years, 15 years back, not happening. धीरे धीरे होते अब ये है that for Vivo brand and iQOO brand, 100% of what is being sold in India is being assembled in India.
Lovely.
Right?
Okay.
In the Greater Noida factory.
Got it.
और मुझे ये भी उम्मीद है कि आगे आने वाले टाइम में even the local sourcing contribution will increase.
अगर आपको थोड़े से बेट्स प्लेस करने हो कि फ्यूचर स्मार्टफोन इंडस्ट्री कैसा रहेगा, like folding phones was a dream from the Moto Razr days, हकीकत बन गई है. Is there something new, something like, I don't know if you're at liberty to talk about it, and if you're not, please just tell me no, but what would you say is the future trends that you see in smartphones coming up, because you have such a bird's eye view?
Yeah, I think form factors.
Okay.
Especially because we can see big evolution happening in the structure of the device.
Okay.
अगर डिस्प्ले हमारा और इवॉल्व होता है, अभी जब मैं MWC बार्सिलोना में था फरवरी में, I saw some very good innovations in terms of displays.
Okay.
तो मुझे वही लगता है कि फ्यूचर डायरेक्शन यही होगी क्योंकि जैसे ही आपके अभी क्या था, सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज ये था, if this is the phone, if I can't fold it or do anything with it, then how do I change the form factor? तो मेरा form factor यही था. And right now we are seeing only in ultra premium, ultra luxury phones, we are seeing slightly newer form factors. मुझे लगता है जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी में होता है, in subsequent years we will see this innovation not only in flagship but also in mid ranges. और उससे many new form factors will open up is what I see.
Got it.
While at the same time, innovation in camera, also because of AI, right? Many things will happen, and the beauty is, I think smartphone industry will be the first ones or amongst the first ones to adopt it.
आपने AI के बारे में बात किया, so I wanted to ask you. I mean, that's a little bit down in my questions, but since you've broached the topic, I just wanted to understand. AI is a big, अभी trigger word है, सबको सिर्फ AI करना है, मुझे bot बनाओ, मुझे ये करके दो, वो करके दो. I think Samsung, I believe, and I think Apple, if I'm not mistaken, are right now the first two to have integrated AI into the day-to-day. What's the AI horizon for iQOO? How's it looking? क्या होने वाला है?
Sure. See, AI in common lingo has come in vogue in the last, say, 1 year or so, right? Maybe 2 years at max. But अगर आप उसका in practice use देखेंगे, तो it has been in use for some time now, especially in the mobile phone business. और मुझे लगता है AI is one of those technology जिसकी adoption पहले होगी और बाद में होनी शुरू हो रही है. Usually नहीं तो होता है, बात इतनी ज़्यादा होती है और adoption कभी होती है और कभी नहीं भी होती है, right? Case in point being, we were talking about metaverse and so many things, right? So much talk, but I don't think too much happened in that field. But in the case of AI, it's actually the reverse. And why do I say that? अगर आप cameras देखेंगे, for the last so many years, cameras have been constantly improving. आज से 4 साल पहले भी चाहे हम वीवो का फोन देखें या iQOO का फोन देखें, if you're trying to click a picture, तो वो डिटेक्ट कर लेता था कि what kind of scene is this?
Right.
Is it a landscape? Is it a portrait? And automatically settings adjust kar deta. And therefore, so many people we see are clicking stunning pictures these days. The beauty is in the software.
Got it.
Not even in the hardware, but more in the software.
Okay.
So therefore, AI is really going to improve the way we use smartphones in the future also. हम गेमिंग की बात करते हैं, अभी हमारे फोन में ऐसे फीचर्स हैं अगेन थ्रू एआई विच चेक्स कि कौन सा पार्ट ज्यादा हीट अप हो सकता है while playing the game and automatically उस पार्ट को ज्यादा cooling की
Wow.
so there are so many things which are happening in the phone, whether it is performance or gaming or even the way you type and the way you use your phone.
Got it. So form is you're saying will be one of the biggest things that
Yeah,
we see.
form and software.
And then you're saying AI coming integration in every aspect of it, even in the day-to-day behind the scenes, which we will never appreciate.
Yes.
समझ
No,
गया.
we'll appreciate the output, but
After
we won't.
Yeah, but the actual painstaking effort that goes into it, तो हमें पता ही नहीं है. Today, iQOO is selling one thing you said, which is very interesting, which I think a lot of smartphone, even I believe there are some Samsung variants who have taken a cue from you of only online sales because they've realized of that. अगर iQOO का business split देखे, तो how I all split up across the length and breadth of our country in terms of which is your biggest state in terms of purchase, which is your least state in terms of purchase, and if you could explain आपके हिसाब से why.
Okay. So अगर हम iQOO को देखें, so we have started by selling online
Right.
first, right? ऐसा नहीं है कि iQOO is the first brand या हमने कोई बहुत earth shattering innovative decision लिया कि हम online first करेंगे. हमसे पहले भी बहुत सारे brands ने ये method use किया है. So there is no real innovation that we have done there as far as channel selection goes. And पॉइंट यही है कि you have to finally understand where your consumer is. और हमें लगता है कि हमारे लिए भी it is going to be a step by step journey. अगर आप इंडियन मोबाइल फोन लैंडस्केप देखें, 30% is online, 70% is still offline.
Correct.
Right.
बहुत से
So,
corner shops.
Right, absolutely. आपके मॉडर्न ट्रेड भी हो सकते हैं, जनरल ट्रेड भी हो सकते हैं, छोटी दुकान, बड़ी दुकान, हर तरह की दुकान और हर किसी की वैल्यू है.
Right.
Right. So I don't think for any brand to do very well, including iQOO, वो सिर्फ एक चैनल पे रह के बहुत अच्छा कर सकते हैं. Yes, to start with, you can be on one channel, but finally a day will come when उस ब्रांड को रियलाइज होगा कि मैं सिर्फ एक जगह या एक चैनल पे रह के रिस्ट्रिक्ट नहीं कर सकता, because your growth also gets limited. And especially right now, if you see, offline is 70%. And if you are not selling in 7 out of 10
Stores, you're not
places,
gonna-
then automatically your reach is limited, your reach is restricted. But it can be a step by step process. तो iQOO में भी हमने ये सोचा it can be a step by step process. अभी हम online से start करेंगे, but when we think the time is right, we will also like to get into offline. Right? So this is the first and very important part कि ऐसा नहीं है कि online है और online पे ही रुकना है. We can expand to other channels also.
And online पे अगर मैं पूछूं तो what is the biggest draw for you or where are your maximum consumers present?
So then you also asked about channel कौन सा है. So as I shared with you, अभी हम दो sources से sell करते हैं. One is Amazon India,
right.
And the other is our own e-store,
right.
iQOO India e-store. So इन दो जगह से हम करते हैं. और primarily जो हमारी sales है वो Amazon से आती है. But there are some customers जिनको पसंद आता है कि वो brand के official website से खरीदें. So of course they also come to our website and we sell from there. Then also about हमारी country में बहुत interesting है that how across geographies we will see consumer trends and consumer behavior is different. अगर हम हमने research करी एक इसमें हमने देखा कि साउथ इंडिया में जो कस्टमर्स हैं फोन खरीदने से पहले वो लोग 10 से 12 फीचर्स को देखते हैं. अगर हम नॉर्थ इंडिया में देखें तो वो 6 से 7 फीचर्स को देखते हैं. अगर हम साउथ में देखें so the gadgets they own are more per person gadgets they own are more than the per person gadgets owned by people in north. People in south will look more for value and maybe tech. This is what our survey showed. And people in north and west wo trust of the brand and safety of the brand, that is what they will see more. So हम अपनी टीम में भी यही बात करते हैं that while we iQOO India is one company, but we are not looking at only one country.
Right.
Within India, there are multiple countries.
Absolutely.
And अगर हमारे को अच्छा काम करना है, then we also have to respect the geographical
Riti
traits
Rewaj of all of those places,
each
yeah.
of those places. And I think that's how we are also building iQOO.
This might seem like a little random question now that I'm throwing this in, but I've always wanted to ask, and again, I found this out very recently. iQOO, it's like you rightly said, it's think of it as iQool, but remove the L. But iQOO means I quest on and on. I don't think a lot of your users also know what this is. So, what was the rationale behind that?
Okay. So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's a great thing. It's that
not a good thing
no
if
one's
our
figured
users
out the
also
full
don't know.
meaning. आपके नाम का पूरा नाम भी मालूम है, फिर भी phone ले रहे हैं. तो it's a good thing only मेरे हिसाब से तो.
I don't think it's a good thing.
आज hopefully हमारे podcast के forum से सबको पता चलेगा.
Yeah. So see, इसका नाम का भी जो है अगर हम देखें I quest on and on, it also in a way reflects a lot about how I think as an individual, how a lot of our team members also think, and how I think the Indians of today also, or the youth of today thinks. And I'll give you an example. मैं अपनी टीम में बहुत बार ये शेयर करता हूँ. जब मैं 20 साल का या 18 साल का लड़का था, मैं ये कभी नहीं सोचता था कि इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम इज गोइंग टू ऑस्ट्रेलिया एज अ फेवरेट. मैं ये देखता था कि अच्छा हार कितनी बुरी तरह से हार के आएंगे. मैं मैच जरूर देखता था सुबह भी उठ के और रात को भी, लेकिन मुझे लगता था कितनी बुरी तरह से हारेंगे ये. सिमिलरली साउथ अफ्रीका, राइट? साउथ अफ्रीका में मैच हो रहा है, अच्छा 100 पे ऑल आउट हो जाएगी टीम या 150 पे, राइट? दिस इज हाउ आई ग्रू अप.
राइट.
अच्छा ओलंपिक्स में टीम जा रही है, बट विल वी इवन विन वन मेडल, राइट? एशियन गेम्स, राइट? सो ऑन एंड सो फॉर्थ. किसी भी स्ट्रीम में देखते थे, लगता था इंडिया इज लिबरलाइजेशन हैपेंड इन 1991. लगता था इंडिया में बहुत पोटेंशियल है, right? And we always used to hear stories of unfulfilled potential,
right?
And this is how I grew up, and I think a lot of people of my age, which are say 40 and around, will also feel that way. But today's youth is seeing a very different India. They are seeing Indian cricket team is going as a favorite. They are seeing we have world champions like Neeraj Chopra. In javelin throw, we have chess champions. At that time, we had one Mr. Vishwanathan Anand.
Now there's so many youngsters.
Now so many grandmasters are coming up. People are saying India is the next chess capital of the world. So you look at any field, everybody wants to be in India, wants to build businesses in India, or in some form be associated with India. This is what the youth of today is seeing. ISRO. See the kinds of progress ISRO is making, which was not possible at all earlier.
Right.
And therefore, the youth of today has very different mindset and very different dreams. And those dreams are, मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता मैं कहाँ से आ रहा हूँ. If I quest on and on, I can really make it big in life. And that's also our philosophy of I quest on and on, because this phone is really for people who are the youngsters of today. Who think that phone is with us all the time. Phone is an enabler for so many things that we do. That with a powerful phone and with the power of my dreams, and if I quest on and on, I can really make it big.
I often say, how that used to be the American dream earlier. I feel like anybody who's born in India post the late 80s, early 90s has that opportunity today if you are an educated, able-bodied individual. So I feel like you're betting on the Indian dream. That's good to hear. You're taking that on. You spoke a little bit about your I want to आपके leadership, क्योंकि यहाँ के दो टाइप के हमारे listeners होंगे. एक तो जो marketing aficionados होंगे, दूसरे जो थोड़े से leadership strategy के बारे में जानना चाहते हैं. तो आप बोल रहे थे कि अभी की you give all of your team that ability to come up with, to have that questing mentality and that look at each individual region as a separate country. How do you what is that? आपका क्या तरीका है to make sure कि अगर आपके कोई employee हो जिसका खुद का potential वो ना realize करे, कि उसके market का potential वो ना realize करे, how do you motivate them? Is it a carrot or is it the stick? I feel like I've asked a little loaded question.
No. See, again, I think firstly, as I told you earlier also, unlike previous times, I don't think that a leader is necessarily a subject matter expert, right? So मुझे भी वही लगता है that while I am leading a team, but there are subject matter experts who know their subject better than even I do, right? Because मान लीजिए कोई भी काम कर रहे हैं, वो उस काम को 12 घंटे 10 घंटे के लिए रोज करते हैं, and they've been doing it for so many years. That's not how I do it. So I think humility is very, very important in terms of what is that you need to, what you know and what you don't know. I think वो बहुत important है.
वो आपने बहुत important point किया है, क्योंकि आज के leaders जिनसे मैं मिल चुका हूँ, मेरा perspective है कि उनको लगता है अगर I say I don't know, it's over. Respect is lost. I think that's very refreshing. आपने जो बोला कि that you get experts and you trust that experts will do their job.
Yeah. But at the same time, then every person has a value.
Right.
And मैं जैसे टीम से ये भी शेयर करता हूँ, in an orchestra, there are specialists when it comes to musical instruments, but you still need the conductor.
Absolutely.
Right? Because conductor will make
Correct.
the orchestra beautiful, otherwise, and a symphony, right? Otherwise, they are individual brilliances. So at every general manager level, I think that is what is very important. How can you stitch the orchestra?
That's a lovely metaphor. That the conductor is still important, even though he's not playing the instrument. He's helping everyone's symphony come together. Very, very nice. Y'all are again now just about your customer-centric obsession. Like y'all are always innovating. Y'all are always upping the ante. How do you maintain this? How do you keep this customer-obsessed culture relevant? Because as passionate as I believe you are on the matter, you alone can't do it, right? You need everybody to believe and to be passionate. How do you keep your teams? How do you keep them motivated and obsessed?
So see, this way, we are. It's some things we did and some things I think we've been blessed with also. I will tell you what we did. जब हमने start किया iQOO को बनाना, हमने एक चीज सोचा कि iQOO will be built differently. और वो differently क्या है? iQOO will be built bottom up rather than top down. Which means हम assumption से ये लेके जा रहे हैं टेबल पे कि हमें नहीं पता, हमारा कस्टमर हमें बताएगा. That is building bottom up.
Okay.
और top down is मेरे को पता है कि आपको क्या चाहिए, इसलिए मैं आपको ये दे रहा हूँ और आप बताओ आपको क्या ये ठीक लगा कि नहीं लगा, right? That is still top down.
Right.
So जब हमने शुरू से सोचा that it is bottom up brand building, हमने community build करने की शुरू करी for iQOO. Community हमने start करी approximately आज से 1.25 साल 1.5 साल पहले. And therefore this is the structural thing that we did. जो मैं आपसे बात कर रहा था कि structurally हमने कहा कि हम ऐसे करना चाहते हैं. Where we will ask them what they think should be iQOO, what kind of products we should have, हमें क्या marketing में करना चाहिए, कैसे हमें brand build करना चाहिए, कैसे हमें communication करनी चाहिए, सब कुछ. And they will give us inputs. And how we've been blessed is we gave a platform. लेकिन हमने देखा कि already there are so many people, 9 लाख से ज़्यादा लोग हमारी community से जुड़ चुके हैं आज.
2 सालों में. Wow.
और ये सब लोग जो हैं ये प्योर ऑर्गेनिक वर्ड ऑफ माउथ से आ रहे हैं. ऑल दे वांट टू डू इज कंट्रीब्यूट टुवर्ड्स द बिल्डिंग ऑफ.
तो बहुत एंगेज्ड कम्युनिटी भी होगी.
यस, एब्सोल्युटली. नॉट जस्ट एंगेज्ड, दे आर नॉलेजेबल, दे आर पैशनेट. 1-1.5 महीना पहले मैं उनसे मिला था. दे वर आल्सो टेलिंग मी सो मेनी पॉइंट्स जो शायद मैं इंप्रूव कर सकता हूँ, राइट? एंड आई टोल्ड देम यस, आई वांट टू हियर मोर. एंड नाउ एज अ प्रैक्टिस आई मीट देम ऑफन. My team meets them often so that हम feedback ले पाएं, and because they are the people, they are also the questers. इसलिए हमने उनको नाम दिया हुआ है questers, because they are helping make iQOO what iQOO is today.
So you keep your ear to the ground on this community, and that's how you're just consistently obsessed. You keep one step ahead of the curve. Little off-book question. Today there are maybe 5 or 6 prominent mobile phone companies in India and the ecosystem which are top of mind for everyone. Do all of y'all like CEOs, are y'all friends? Do y'all like have a little like club where y'all discuss insights, learnings, or anything like that?
Yes, so of course you can't know everybody to the same level.
Right.
लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है that I don't know people and I'm not friends with people of other companies. It happens, and I think it's a very good healthy environment.
Absolutely.
तो बहुत सारी कंपनीज हैं जिनके लीडर्स से मेरी रेगुलरली बात होती है. बट वो जो बात है वो यूजुअली बिजनेस की नहीं होती.
Okay.
Because then you don't know where to stop.
Of course. और secrets तो नहीं देने हैं उनको.
So इसलिए I think best is you talk in general.
Healthy fraternity.
because there is life outside of work also.
दूसरा अगर एक थोड़ा सा rapid fire coffee with Karan type of question पूछूं तो from your competition is there anyone who you look at and say ये बंदा क्या तोड़ काम कर रहा है? Or is there anyone whose like work you have appreciated? Let's not say that okay, this one's better or worse. Let's not quantify that way. But is there someone or a brand that comes to mind? Doesn't necessarily have to be even from the phone space, but in the larger technology space, whose work you look at as inspiration?
या सो एक नहीं, आई थिंक काफ़ी सारी कंपनीज हैं जिनका मुझे काम काफ़ी पसंद है, और वो इसलिए, एंड सम इन टेक, सम नॉट इन टेक ऑल्सो. जैसे यू नो, आई गिव यू एग्जांपल, मे बी आप अभी बहुत लोगों को नहीं भी पता होगा, देयर इज अ ब्रांड कॉल्ड लुलुलेमन.
Lululemon, of course. I
यस,
mean,
सो आज जो सुन रहे हैं, आई थिंक कुछ ने सुना होगा, कुछ नहीं भी सुना होगा. दे आर प्लानिंग टू एंटर इंडिया. लेकिन अगर आप देखेंगे, लुलुलेमन हैज ऑलरेडी बिकम द सेकंड मोस्ट वैल्यूएबल स्पोर्ट्स अपैरल
right.
ब्रांड इन द वर्ल्ड आफ्टर नाइकी, राइट. और उनको स्टार्ट हुए कितने, शायद 8 साल 10 साल हुए होंगे मैक्सिमम, राइट. और वो एडिडास से, रीबॉक से, और जितने भी अंडर आर्मर से, एसिक्स से, उन सब ब्रांड से आगे हैं आज के टाइम में. और वो आगे इसलिए नहीं है क्योंकि उन्होंने सस्ते बेचे. इनफैक्ट दे आर
Expensive है.
quite costly, quite costly, but still they are able to do it. How? Right? So it is a real learning when it comes to brand building, when it comes to business building, having clarity of vision, your R&D. So I think Lululemon is a very good example. And similarly, I see On.
Yeah.
The On shoes also, I think the whole story of On shoes is also very interesting. Nike, amongst the old brands, I think Nike also from where it started. अगर आप Phil Knight, who's the founder of Nike, अगर आप उनकी बुक पढ़ेंगे, शू डॉग, उन्होंने स्टार्ट किया as a distributor of Onitsuka in the US. और वो भी उन्होंने अगर उनके बुक में आप पढ़ेंगे, वो बताते हैं कि कैसे वो वहां पर गए, उन्होंने आउट ऑफ लीप ऑफ फेथ कुछ नंबर्स कमिट कर दिए. And from just being a distributor to making a company like Nike, I think it is really inspirational. तो बहुत सारे अच्छे examples हैं, new age and traditional businesses. So I think there is much to learn from.
Again, I know that iQOO is a lot more than just a gaming phone. It has a lot of variants, but gaming also takes up a significant portion of your user base, right? So today in the competitive gaming market, I think what do you think y'all have done right? और आपने क्या मतलब आपके phones के performance में अगर थोड़ा सा technically बता सको, that the entire gaming community is just guffawing over iQOO mobiles.
Yeah, so very clear. I think promise and delivery are closely matching. As मैंने आपको पहले बताया था, for us it is very important that if there is one thing which you will certainly get with iQOO, it is performance. और अगर हम, और हमारे बहुत सारे जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं या अर्ली जॉबर्स हैं या कोई भी इंटरेस्टेड है जो गेमिंग आजकल खेलते हैं, चाहे BGMI खेलें, फ्री फायर खेलें, व्हाट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर देम इज़ फ़ोन हमारा हैंग नहीं होना चाहिए, राइट. हमारा अगर हम प्रेस कर रहे हैं तो फटाफट से हमारी बुलेट जानी चाहिए, हम एनिमी को फटाफट से ढूंढ पाए, स्कोपिंग शुड बी करेक्ट. और जितने भी ये सारे फीचर्स हैं, ये तभी आ पाते हैं इफ you have to get many things right. Your display has to be correct, your processor has to be correct, software has to be, so many things have to come right, and that is what we do. We focus on getting performance right when it comes to phone in general. और नॉर्मल यूज केस में सोशल मीडिया ब्राउज कर रहे हैं तो आपको उतना फर्क पड़ ही नहीं सकता है, राइट. बट व्हेन यू गोइंग टू हैवी टास्क्स, और वो सिर्फ गेमिंग में नहीं, नॉन गेमिंग में भी आप कोई हैवी टास्क करेंगे, कोई फाइल ओपन करेंगे, यू विल फील द डिफरेंस.
आप खुद गेम करते हो?
Not too much.
अगर आपको पूछो BGMI या फ्री फायर, आपका कोई ओपिनियन है?
No opinion, as in opinion. I don't know which is better or worse. I think there are fans for both.
Diplomatic answer आपने दिया, because both people are playing on your phone. Fair enough.
वो है भी, मैंने देखा है that our Neo customers, Neo series के customers जो हैं वो BGMI ज़्यादा खेलते हैं, और जो हमारे Z series के customers हैं वो फ्री फायर ज़्यादा खेलते हैं.
Got it. Okay, so you have now niches within your phone categories also by game. Wow. Amazing. There are people, the argument internet पे बहुत rage होता है, iOS is better कि Android है gaming के लिए. आपका इस पे? I personally also have an opinion, but I won't say. आप तो subject matter specialist हो.
Sure. So I'll say iQOO is better.
Perfect. I think that should be the clippable reel that we put out here.
No, but jokes apart, I think both people, both sets of, there are both sets of people. There is no doubt about it. iOS की भी gaming में बहुत अच्छी performance आती है. एंड बहुत सारे प्रोफेशनल गेमर्स हैं जिनको मैं जब पर्सनली मिला हूँ, मैंने उनके फ़ोन्स देखे हैं, अ लॉट ऑफ देम आर ऑन iOS, राइट? तो उसमें देयर इज़ नो डिनाइंग द फैक्ट, बट आई थिंक वो सिमिलर परफॉर्मेंस या इवन बेटर परफॉर्मेंस इज़ पॉसिबल इन एंड्रॉयड ऑल्सो,
Got it.
but it depends on can you optimize it correctly, can you load it with the right hardware. जैसे if this was the iQOO 12 for example, अगर आप iQOO 12 देखें या हमारी Neo series भी देखें, we don't have just one chip, we have two chips,
Okay.
right? So there's a dedicated gaming chip also.
Got it.
So it depends on how much you can put inside the phone,
Understood.
and then the experience matters rather than at an OS level. I think you should go at the phone level rather than just sticking to the OS.
Very interesting. That segues perfectly into my next question. You said OS, right? So today I think Xiaomi and Apple and Samsung to some extent with the Samsung apps have created their own OS in a way. Any plans, anything in the pipeline for iQOO to have its own operating system at some point?
See, own operating system is different. Like almost all Android people, they are on Android, so the
Right.
operating system is Android.
Right.
Whether it is brand A, brand B, brand C. What changes is the way you design and structure and skin the OS. Similarly, for us also, we have FunTouch OS 14 running right
Right.
now, and that is what is suiting our consumers very well. And I think that's what we intend to do.
Okay, so not an overhaul of the OS, or just going to have, I mean, you want to stay in the
that's what-
Android ecosystem.
So because there are only two, right?
Fair,
Android, everybody
fair,
else is on Android as
fair.
well.
Got it. If I had to talk about some of the challenges that you must have faced earlier on, right? Because iQOO is still a relatively newer business in terms of years. Any unique or challenges that you faced in the Indian market that you could highlight to us that someone watching this can take learnings from?
See, if you're starting any business, and और वो हमारे लिए भी ट्रू है जब हम iQOO सेटअप कर रहे हैं, and I still believe iQOO is relatively young. अभी भी बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो iQOO को नहीं जानते हैं, right? और ये एक स्टैंडर्ड है जो रहता ही रहता है, which is awareness leads to interest, interest leads to desire, desire leads to action, right? तो अगर आपको awareness ही नहीं है तो आप उस चीज़ को usually नहीं खरीदोगे, right? Especially a thing like mobile phone, जिसमें आप 15,000, 20,000, 30,000 रुपए खर्च रहे हैं, which you're going to use for so long. You intend to first know about the brand. तो इसलिए आप कुछ भी बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, आई थिंक अवेयरनेस अमंगस्ट योर टीजी इज मोस्ट क्रिटिकल. सो एज फार एज अ चैलेंज फॉर अस इज कंसर्न, हमारे लिए भी चैलेंज है, राइट? दैट वी आल्सो नीड टू बिल्ड अवेयरनेस फॉर द ब्रांड. आई हैव कॉन्फिडेंस कि अगर आपको हमारे बारे में पता है, देन यू विल बी इंक्लाइंड टू बाय. बट द फर्स्ट स्टेप दैट यू शुड नो अस इज सर्टेनली एन अपॉर्चुनिटी एरिया फॉर अस ऑल्सो. लेकिन आज के टाइम पे डिफरेंट क्या हो गया, अच्छा क्या हो गया, विच वॉज नॉट प्रेवलेंट मच अर्लियर, इज बिकॉज ऑफ सोशल मीडिया, बिकॉज ऑफ डिजिटल मीडिया. अगर आपके ब्रांड की एक अच्छी स्टोरी है, ब्रांड की एक यूनिक आइडेंटिटी है, तो और अगर आपका ब्रांड रेलेवेंट है आपके कस्टमर से, तो आपके कस्टमर्स भी आपके पास आते हैं. यू नॉट टू नेसेसरीली गो, राइट? तो ये एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है जो आजकल हो रही है. एंड आई थिंक बिकॉज ऑफ सोशल मीडिया, इफ वी आर एबल टू give out the right narrative to our people, then जो हमारे consumers हैं, जो already बहुत लोग हमें पसंद कर रहे हैं, I think the word will spread, जैसे community में हुआ.
So when you were also talking about community, I wanted to just ask you. So with Tanmay Bhatt, you've done a longish influencer association. I believe you've done something with Janvi Kapoor also in the past. What is the perspective on a brand like iQOO in terms of influencer? Because it's becoming a very important part of everybody's marketing mix. So ये influencer sort of your community or KOLs as we call them loosely. Do you have a viewpoint on how to approach them and how iQOO does it slightly differently? Because you all are doing it slightly differently than everybody else in the kind of associations you are making. So can you just give us a little bit of peek into your thought process on that?
देखिए, इसमें there are 2-3 things we can keep in mind. Firstly, authenticity is very important. बहुत लोग बोलते हैं इसके बारे में, but जो आपके लिए करेक्ट है वो जरूरी नहीं कि मेरे लिए भी करेक्ट होगा. सिमिलरली iQOO की एक सर्टेन लैंग्वेज है, और iQOO के कंज्यूमर्स iQOO से कुछ सर्टेन चीजें देखना चाहते हैं. सो एवरीबडी विल नॉट फिट इन दैट मोल्ड. तो इसलिए जो हमारे लिए करेक्ट है हम वो करना चाहते हैं, रादर देन रियली थिंकिंग कि कंपटीशन ए क्या कर रहा है और बी क्या कर रहा है. आई थिंक दैट्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. और वो मुझे लगता है लाइफ में कुछ भी हम कर रहे हो, वी शुड फर्स्टली introspect deeply what is our right path, and then I think follow that path with conviction rather than going after everybody else.
आपने एक इंटरेस्टिंग बात कही है, क्योंकि अगर दूसरे मार्केटिंग ट्रेन ऑफ थॉट से जाए तो मोस्ट पीपल अपने इन्फ्लुएंसर्स को इस हिसाब से चूज करते हैं कि मैक्सिमम एक्सपोजर कौन ला सके, रेलेवेंस वो सब छोड़ दो, कार्पेट बॉम्ब करते हैं। आप सिर्फ और सिर्फ उन्हीं को चूज करते हैं जो आपके ब्रांड ईथॉस से मिले।
Yeah,
So that is at the
that is
price of
most important.
sometimes you're letting go of potential exposure, but you
See,
want the right exposure.
Yeah, see, इसमें भी अगर आप wrong लोगों को जाके मैसेज दे भी दिया, then also it's of no use, right? I can get millions of views, but 900K of them are useless views, तो उसका भी कोई point नहीं है. So
आप जरा दूसरे क्लाइंट से भी बात करना प्लीज, आपका ये दिस पर्सपेक्टिव दूसरों को भी जानना चाहिए, बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल बिलीव दैट लेट अस जस्ट numbers are everything, vanity metrics are everything. So you're saying that has been आपका success उसमें रहा है कि you've not gone by the vanity metrics, you focused on your core.
see, correct. So without relevance and without authenticity, I think there is no use. Then after relevance and authenticity, yes, you can look at scale and you can look at reach. कोई ये नहीं कहता कि you have to focus on less numbers, but focus on the right numbers, I think is the most important.
Got it. मैंने आपको हार्डवेयर के बारे में ऑलरेडी iOS और एंड्रॉयड का पूछा, AI का पूछा। अगर दूसरे फोन ब्रांड्स या टेक्नोलॉजी ब्रांड्स को देखा जाए, दे ऑल मूव इनटू द एक्सेसरी स्पेस रियली क्विकली, यू नो, दे आर वेरी क्विक टू लॉन्च हेडफोन्स, स्मार्ट वॉच, व्हाटएवर, नाउ दे स्मार्ट एवरीथिंग। यू ऑल हैव स्टेड अवे, आपने ये फोरे में अभी तक आपने अपनी एंट्री नहीं किया है, कोई वजह?
हमें लगता है हमें कम काम करना चाहिए और अच्छा करना चाहिए. So
like the model CEO, Nipunji, we have to get like these messages out to more people.
No, because I think it's important rather than being greedy कि हम सब कुछ कर लें. We want to do less things, but do them the best. हमें लगता है हम स्मार्टफोन बहुत अच्छे से कर सकते हैं. So that's what we want to focus on. And मुझे लग रहा है हम अभी तक अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं and we intend to do that.
So no plans that I'm not going to see anytime soon. Good to know. अगर कोई नया स्मार्टफोन एस्पिरेंट हो जो अपने आत्मनिर्भर भारत के ड्रीम में खुद की टेलीफोन या स्मार्टफोन कंपनी लॉन्च करना चाहे आज के ज़माने में, व्हाट वुड यू से 2 या 3 आपके द मोस्ट वैल्यूएबल पीस ऑफ इनसाइट यू कैन गिव टू अ पोटेंशियल फाउंडर CEO ऑफ अ up and coming or not even sort of established smartphone company today?
Okay. देखिए उसमें आई थिंक दिस समथिंग विच इज़ वेरी क्लोज टू माई हार्ट, और मैं वही बताना चाहूँगा कि अगर कोई इसको क्रैक कर सकता है, आई थिंक देयर इज़ वेरी वेरी बिग बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटी. क्योंकि अगर आपने एक सक्सेसफुल एंटरप्रेन्योर बनना है तो बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटी होनी बहुत ज़रूरी है सबसे पहले. सो वन अपॉर्चुनिटी दैट आई सी इन अ वेरी बिग वे इज़, अगर आप अभी की स्मार्टफोन इंडस्ट्री देखेंगे, लेस मूवमेंट इज हैपनिंग फ्रॉम फीचर फोन टू स्मार्टफोन. स्मार्टफोन इंडस्ट्री भी अपने आप में ही पीपल हु आर ऑलरेडी ऑन स्मार्टफोन्स, दे आर बाइंग न्यू स्मार्टफोन जब भी उनका टाइम आप उनको लगता है अपग्रेड करने का टाइम है. सो इन अ वे द ग्रोथ ऑफ द स्मार्टफोन इंडस्ट्री इज इन सिंगल डिजिट्स नाउ, राइट? 5%, 6%, 7%. One, I think it is not, it is okay, industry is growing, but I think as a country, हम बहुत सारे लोगों को स्मार्टफोन्स पे मूव नहीं कर रहे, राइट? बिकॉज अभी भी 2-3 हज़ार 4 हज़ार का अगर कोई स्मार्टफोन है भी तो पीपल आर नॉट रियली बाइंग इनटू दैट. तो जो हमारे फीचर फोन पे लोग हैं वो फीचर फोन पे, जो स्मार्टफोन पे हैं वो स्मार्टफोन में. आई थिंक द बिग बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटी इज इफ इन सम वे वो फीचर फोन वाले लोग स्मार्टफोन्स लेना शुरू कर, राइट? तो जैसे अगर अभी आप और बहुत सारी कंट्रीज में देखेंगे स्मार्टफोन पेनिट्रेशन 80-90% भी है, बट हमारे यहाँ नहीं है.
हमारे यहाँ कितना है स्मार्टफोन?
60%.
60%,
राइट? 50 to 60% ही है. सो ये जो गैप है, दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी बिग गैप, और अगर हम कोई भी इसको एंटरप्रेन्योर फिल कर सकता है, आई थिंक वी आर सिटिंग ऑन अ पॉट ऑफ गोल्ड.
That has covered everything that I wanted to ask you. I'm hoping that our user base and our viewers drop some comments and I can maybe trouble you for a follow-up interview. But this was very, very informative. I had a great time, and I think I must say that you are one of the most down-to-earth, humble people I have had the good fortune of interacting with. So it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.